Well, it's commonly said you can't have too many clamps. When you're doing any kind of woodworking project, clamps are important. I've got quite an assortment of clamps. These are kind of nice in that they just slide very quick. Not the strongest thing in the world, though, but they do make them in various sizes. They're not real cheap either. A common clamp are these that use a piece of pipe. They're nice in that they're very adjustable, and they are, it's possible to put longer pipe in them. So they're kind of handy, but they're not real cheap, and they do put all the pressure in a kind of small area, which is what the problem with these type of clamps, which are cheap. I've got quite a few of these, but you're limited to how much pressure you can get on these and they'll bowl. But they're all right. But I probably got like 20 of these in various sizes. Their biggest feature is that they're cheap. But a good kind of clamp are these, in that you can, they're very adjustable, but you can also clamp really odd shaped things. That comes in handy. I use these a lot when I'm making on dog sleds. It's just a handy tool to have. And you can get quite a little pressure on these. But for this, I needed good clamps, and I needed more than what I actually have. I have 4 of these. These are made by Pony, which is also the company that makes these, and they make these. They've been making clamps for like 100 years. My little woodworking vise is a Pony vise. Growing up, people always make reference to a Pony vise, and I didn't realize at the time that was the brand name, but that's what it is. But this that I'm using here are some I picked up a while back, and I've been really happy with these. They're called a Jorgensen, but they're made by Pony, and these are the Cabinet Master. They're kind of nice. You just slide them up, and they're tight, and they're much heavier than they look. And this iron that they run on is kind of a shape like an 8, but very strong, and you can put a lot of pressure on with them. They're a nice clamp, but I really would like to get a bunch more of them, because like I say, you can never have too many clamps. Now this is kind of an odd thing. I'm not actually putting it together now. This is just first assembly, just to get an idea how the parts line up, and then I'll mark them. But the trick on this is I'm dealing with an angle on both sides, plus I'm dealing with 2 thicknesses of wood. This is 3/4 inch, this is a 1/2 inch. I figure I wanted 3/4 on the sides where the handles will be, and that's where the pins on the dovetails are. So I wanted that a little heavier. So that makes it a little bit trickier in laying it out. But I think I got the proportions right. And like I say, it's angled, so in order to use clamps, to clamp evenly, I have to put these wedges in that are at the same angle, which is this angle, which I have no idea what it is. I just kept playing around until I got the angle that appealed to me, that seemed right to me. Because this isn't the height that it'll actually be. This is where it will hinge open, but this will be rather like the military trunks, where it hinges open and there's a lift out tray. But on this one, I will have at least 1 small compartment and then a lift out tray, though I might go with 2 small compartments, 1 on either side, and then a lift out tray in the center. And then the top will come up, again, not quite this much, but like 3-4 inches. I just cut these to get that angle on them. And then it'll be the round top, and the round top covers the tray. So it's coming together. It's a lot of dovetails I got to cut down, but wanted to just kind of roughly assemble it so I get an idea of any changes I have to make, but I'm in pretty good shape. There'll be a lot of fine tuning. But I thought I would bring up these Cabinet Master clamps. They run about 40 bucks a piece, and I see them a lot of different places. I think they're pretty popular. But they will clamp like a half ton, which is pretty much power. Because though they have a plastic face, inside it's big cast iron pieces. So it's a solid clamp, but a big clamping surface. And I do like that when you're clamping, you can also, there's enough of an edge there that you can clamp from the side like that, which is kind of handy. Nope, my wedge fell out. No, I shouldn't have tightened that one. But I just got to mark them and then I can take it apart again. And then I'll start cutting the dovetails. Well, a little bit of fine tuning because now, like I say, where the lid goes on, this has got an angle now that's got to be flattened, and the corresponding piece has to be flattened. So like I say, there'll be a lot of fine tuning. But I was getting my angle and figuring out what I needed for the wedges to even it out when I go to clamp it. So I get a more even pressure, because like the way it is now, you're only pushing on one little corner, and I have to clamp the whole thing. So I'll probably even have to make up more wedges. And I might have to buy more clamps. But they're handy, and I do fiddle with this stuff all the time. But I thought I'd just mention these, that for a $40 clamp, not cheap. I would say they're like in a professional level, but they work really well.